Hello, we are excited to have all of you all here this evening attending this evening session. There's so much that we want to share with you because knowledge is power. And we want to make sure that you're empowered and ready to experience all that Whitehead Road has to offer. With nothing else, I want to present now our principal, Miss April Braswell.
Good evening, family. Good evening, Koala Nation community. We are so excited to be the first school to offer a town hall meeting for our families. So thank you all for tuning in this evening. We are just super excited to be able to offer you some answers. Let me say this, we received over 100 questions from our families, and it just shows you just how awesome our Koala Nation is. And so we will do our best job today to answer each and every one of those questions. We have really worked hard to condense some of those questions to make sure everybody has an opportunity to hear some of those answers. And throughout our town hall tonight, if you have new questions that may come up, we ask that you will visit our school website and submit those new questions, because we know that with our town hall set up the way that it is, we can't always see those questions that are popping up, so we want you to have a space to do that. So please visit our website, click on the link, and submit any of those new questions. But I want to introduce you to our panelists. We have some awesome Whitehead staff members who are here to help answer some of those questions. So we're going to start with our awesome assistant principals, and then we will transition to our specials areas and our special programs, and then we will also close out with some of our teachers. So let's start out with Ms. Garcia.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Pam Garcia. I'm one of the assistant principals. Yo soy Pamela Garcia. Soy una de las asistentes directoras.
Hello, everyone. My name is Omar Curry, and I'm the new assistant principal here at Whitehead, and I'm so excited to be a part of Koala Nation.
Good evening. I'm Susanna Hewitt, and I'm the school nurse at Whitehead Road.
Hello, my name is Cornelia Barnes, and I am the school counselor.
Hi, I'm Jessica Andrews. I'm the library media specialist here at Whitehead Road.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tab Phillips, and I'm a pre-K teacher here at Whitehead Road.
Hello, I'm Jill Powell, grade teacher at Whitehead Road.
My name is Kristen Kulak, and I'm a special ed team leader at Whitehead Road.
My name is Miss Megan, and I'm also a special education teacher.
Hi, I'm Rachel Roberts, and I'm a spectrum teacher at Whitehead Road.
Good evening, I'm Stephanie Maxwell, and I am one of the ESOL teachers.
Awesome, and that is, this includes all of our panelists. Mr. Butts, I don't think you introduced yourself, so we're going to ask you to introduce yourself. All right, I think Mr. Butts may be having some issues trying to unmute here. So
I am here. Hello, everyone. I'm Mr. Cedric Butts, your family engagement specialist at Whitehead Road. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Awesome job. Thank you, Mr. Butts. So we do have a presentation that we will share with our families as we go through our town hall tonight. So Ms. Garcia, if you will go ahead and start sharing that on our screen. And so we'll be answering those questions that have been submitted. Again, if you have new questions, please make sure you visit our website and submit those new questions to us. So let's go ahead and get started. I know many of you miss our lovely school. We miss being there all the time as well, and miss having everybody to join in with us. So Garcia, go ahead and start sharing that. We want that first intro screen, and we'll stop on the list of panelists. All right, awesome job. So this is our town hall meeting, and we know that we are home of the Koala Scholars. We are so excited about what we have to offer our Koala Scholars this school year. It may be different, but we will still do a great, awesome job here from Whitehead Road. So, Mr. Butts, I think we could go ahead and transition to our question.
That is great. And now let's get down to business, shall we? Well, our first question tonight, when will students know who their teachers are? Ms. Braswell, could you take care of that question for us tonight?
Yes. Okay. So we worked really hard last week to make sure all of our teachers had their updated rosters. And so all of our families should have received a phone call, email, or some type of communication from their homeroom teachers by now. If you have not, don't worry about it. Just make contact with us and let us know that you haven't heard from a homeroom teacher yet. And we will make sure that we double check on that, and you should hear from somebody very soon. So everybody should have heard something from their homeroom teacher.
Great. Thank you for sharing. Also, as we continue, Ms. Braswell, will meals be provided to families?
Oh, yes, sir. Great question. Yes, we will continue to provide meals for families. So similar to the meals distribution that took place back in the spring, the school district has worked really, really hard to make sure that we still dispatch our buses out to all of our different areas to make sure meals are provided to our families. And so if there was an issue where you might not have seen a bus or you were, just kind of limited on getting those meals for your family, if you will just submit the information to us, let us know that you really didn't have a bus that came to your area. Make sure you include your address and things of that nature, and we will work with our school district to make sure that we get someone out to your area to provide meals for your family. And also, we still will have those curbside pickups available. And that information, I believe Ms. Garcia will have some information on the CCSD website. Do you have that for us?
Yes, 1 second. All right, is that up on the screen for everybody? All right. So yes, if you go to the Clark County website under families, for families, you can look under free student meals, and you can see here the different locations that have just recently been updated as of today, Monday, the 17th. And so the new locations will be Chase Street, Cleveland Road, J.J. Harris, Winterville, and Hillsman from 10 to 12. And then you can also see the interactive map, but you can also see if the bus is coming to your area. So you can see what time the bus would be in your neighborhood. And again, I'm going to direct you back to the Clark County website, because if there are any changes or any additions to bus stops, this is the most up-to-date information.
Well, thank you for sharing. As we continue with our parents and their concerns, they want to know, will uniforms be strictly enforced during virtual learning? Ms. Braswell?
All right, that is a hot topic question. And so I want our Whitehead families to rest assured that Whitehead is going to come through as we usually do to make sure that we support and take care of our families. School uniforms are not required to attend our virtual learning sessions. We simply ask that you make sure that your child has on a shirt and some bottoms, and we are good to go. So that means that if they wake up late and it's time for them to get logged on, get them logged on as long as they have on some type of clothing. We will gladly accept them into our virtual learning classrooms. We're just so excited about getting our students connected to learning. We are not stressing over for, asking for school uniforms to be worn during virtual learning.
Thank you for making that clear. But also, Ms. Braswell, when they return back to school, will uniforms be required every day?
All right, so that is something that we have worked on with our school leadership team. And the simple answer is yes. We want our parents to wait before purchasing uniforms. And so what we want to do is make sure that we provide you with supports from the school. We have really been pushing our school uniform drive to provide a resource for families so you won't have to go out and buy uniforms. It is definitely easier for us to just keep our uniform policy consistent during this time of just, transition and learning how to do a new type of schooling. We did not want to add on a new layer of a dress code policy to help, bring our kids into our learning spaces appropriately. And so we will stick with our uniform policy. But if we have families who are having some financial difficulties, because we understand the pandemic brought on some things that left a lot of our families in some situations that are unfortunate. We have been working with PTO, we're working with our LSGT and some community partners to provide some assistance to those families needing those uniforms. Again, we still ask our families, if you have uniforms that you no longer need, your children may have outgrown those uniforms, drop them off on our front porch. We will take care of washing and drying those and making those available to families who may need that assistance. So no worries, rest assured that we are definitely taking that into consideration to provide some assistance to our families. And also we are working really hard to provide a new school spirit shirt to all of our quality scholars. And we will now incorporate any school spirit shirt as a part of our uniform policy. So if you have a old Whitehead Road Koala Scholar shirt, you can definitely wear that with a pair of khakis or a pair of blue bottoms or anything of that nature and be fine when we return back to school. So no worries on that end. We are here to support our families.
We're here to support our kids. I'm loving that. As we now change over to Ms. Garcia, Ms. Garcia, as we prepare to come back to school, where can we access supply lists?
Okay, all right, so let me advance the slide so you can see the updated digital backpack. So we have worked really hard with our school, our LSGT grant, as well as within our school budgets to be able to provide the following items for our students. We really wanted to make sure that we were lifting the burden from families of as many school supplies as possible. So we will be able to provide pencils, erasers, glue sticks, scissors, crayons, or color pencils, depending on your grade level. And then of course a technology device, an iPad or a laptop, and then a notebook, and then folders, a red folder for math, a blue folder for ELA, and then a dry erase board and marker. And then pre-K will actually get a headset with mic or earbuds with mic. I'm not sure which one, but pre-K will receive those. And so what we're really asking families to do, this is the updated list, so it's below. This is what we're asking for families. Please work on investing on a headset with microphone. That's actually something that we think is really going to help, especially if you have multiple children in the home and if you're working at home as well. It really helps to decrease noise and allows to ensure that our scholars are able to focus during their sessions. And we know that's a little bit more costly than traditionally we've asked you to do, so that's why we wanted to make sure that we were lifting that burden from you all. And then in grades 2 through 5, we want to also continue with our AVID strategies of having a 3-ring binder for our students. We are working to try to secure these for all students, and that is our goal, is that we'll be able to provide a binder for all students. So that might be something that you maybe don't buy until the week before we start school, and we will send an update out if we're able to secure enough binders for all students. But we definitely need all students 2 through 5 to have a binder, because we think that will ultimately help organize your children's at-home workspaces. And then of course, additional pencils. We are providing 2, but we think it'll be beneficial for you to have more than 2. And then the last thing that we're asking families to do is to really develop a space within your house that is conducive for learning. So make sure that you secure somewhere in your house that's somewhere quiet. Either there's a table or a desk. And if you don't have those items, maybe a clipboard or something that they can bear down on, or even a coffee table. So really just trying to find a place where your child can really have a place to have their computer as well as do work. And then that location, just think about it maybe being close to a power outlet, because they'll need to charge their device since they will be on it, as well as trying to make sure that you have a space that is maybe free of distraction. So if you have the opportunity to spread out siblings, that would be great. If not, doing the best, try to space them out within the room. And then of course, reduce any other distractions like TV or toys. So I think that's it for supplies.
Oh, great. Another question was, would parents have access, would the students have access to the supplies that was supplied last year? Would that be a possibility?
Yes, so if you were not able to pick up your child's supplies from last school year, we have them in the building still. And so we plan to actually have your new homeroom teachers will have those bags with them. So if you did not pick up their supplies, we will have those for you at open house as well.
Great. That's good news. Also, Garcia, you might as well continue now and tell us all about our kindergarten through second grade schedules at this time.
All right, great. Oh, I forgot. I did have a slide here. So this is an example of something to help you guys possibly when you're developing your students' workspace. This is a trifold board, and we've been able to, I've seen those at the Dollar Tree. So they're just $1. They're kind of that cardboard, but this helps create kind of an isolated area that's free of restrictions. So you could put this somewhere within your child's room, wherever your workspace is set up. So this is just an idea, an inexpensive idea to help you guys at home try to develop a nice work area for your children. Okay, moving into the schedule. So this is just K through 2, but I am going to talk through kind of the overview of what you will see as commonalities between 3 through 5 as well as pre-K. And so all of our students will start with, or our teachers start with planning from 8 to 8:30. And then from 8:30 to 9, we'll have community building, morning meeting, or social emotional learning. And so this would be a synchronous time. And so this is really an opportunity for our kids to come together, to join this community, to build that classroom community, to connect with each other as well as their teachers. And so right now we're looking at that being synchronous. And so that is when a child and the teacher are on together. And so it is a live session that they're interacting back and forth with. And so that would start, so then that would take us till 9 o'clock. And that is through pre-K through 5. So if you see where it's in gray, the first couple rows, that really indicates that that's happening pre-K through 5 across our building. And so then the next block of time is 9 to 12, which is our morning instruction. And so I know that seems like a long block of time, but I'm going to break down how K through 2 will look through that and then talk about what asynchronous and synchronous time looks like. And so we did not do individual grade level schedules because we are still working on those individually. And of course, each teacher would have specific times of what time things flow, but this will give you an idea of how long kids are on the computer. Okay, so for K through 2, we have 45 minutes of morning work. And so that can look like, in our lower grades, we do a lot of morning songs, calendar songs, routines to get them excited about the day, to really get some momentum going. So that's 45 minutes. And so that is synchronous. So again, that's a live instruction. So that's the teacher and the children interacting together. And then that takes us to math. And math is actually 70 minutes, but you'll see here, I've denoted that 30 minutes is whole group. And so if you come over, we have synchronous and recorded. So again, this is actual live instruction where teachers and students are collaborating and engaging together, but we will actually be recording those so that they'll be available for any scholars that aren't able to attend at that session. And so our teachers have done so much professional learning related to this about how to record these sessions as well as be able to embed questions throughout so that they know that the students are actually engaging with those recordings. And then the next thing is math small groups. So small groups is 40 minutes. And so what that looks like is in our traditional schedule, it'd be most similarly related to like math centers. And so during a small group center time, a teacher was working with a small group of students and other students are working on specific tasks within that block. And so some children would be working on independent work, some students might be working on a program, and then some might be with the teacher. And so in that time, those times change daily. So your child would be working with the teacher on different times, different days of the week during that small groups or independently working. And so if you see there, we've indicated that that's asynchronous. And then moving on, still within that morning block, we'll have a 15-minute whole group mini lesson for writing. And so that again would also be live instruction with the teacher and also be recorded. And then next we would move into 40 group, small group reading groups, and this would be asynchronous. So this again would be more like reading centers, what we see in our classrooms where teachers are reading small groups reading with small groups, and then other students are working on phonics activities or different activities to support literacy. So that's our large morning section. And then school-wide, we would actually have a lunch and recess. So everybody would be on lunch and recess at the same time, pre-K through 5. And then afternoon instruction would start from 1 to 3. And so for K through 2, you look here, they will go to specials for 40 minutes. And that is actually synchronous learning. So they're meeting with their specials teacher live. And then there would be 30 minutes of whole group reading. And so that would be synchronous as well as recorded. So live instruction engagement with the teacher as well as a recorded session for those who couldn't attend at that time. And then 30 minutes of science and social studies, and that would also be live instruction. And then 20 minutes of writing small groups. And so again, that's going to look like individual conferring, small. It's really in writing, it really is more individual conferring. So teachers are meeting with kids individually to talk about their writing related to that whole group. And then at the end of the day, from 3 to 4, that's where our teachers would have kind of office hours. And so that's where we'll provide additional small group interventions. We'll provide interventions as needed and individual groups or individual tutoring sessions as needed. And so that's really up to the teacher to make that schedule. And we will work as a school to make sure that all students who need additional support really receive their specialized instruction at the end of the day. All right, so that's K through 2. I'm going to pass it to Mr. Curry now to talk through 3 through 5.
All right, thank you. I will not go over all of that. She explained that very well as it relates to the gray and the blue. And so what we will focus on is the morning instruction as it begins at 9 a.m. And as you will see, 3rd through 5th will begin with specials for 40 minutes. And this is also a synchronous time where there will be the instructor, the teacher, as well as the students live. And then we'll go on to math whole group for 30 minutes. This is synchronous and recorded. So this is recorded, and then this provides the opportunity for those students who may not, for whatever reason, be able to get on that synchronous time. That lesson will still be recorded, and they'll be able to access that lesson. And then we move to math small groups for 40 minutes. That's that asynchronous time. Writing whole group, that's that mini lesson where they're going to get that instruction, get the mini lesson, and then in the afternoon, that's when they'll do their independent writing. 50 minutes of reading whole group, that's asynchronous. And then we have that same lunch and recess time from 12 to 1. And then we'll return at 1 to 3 for our afternoon instruction of science and social studies. Can't forget that for 45 minutes, and that is synchronous time. And then our reading and writing small group, that async, in which the teacher will be working in small group reading, while other students may be working on individual writing assignments at that time. And then from 3 to 4, we have those teacher office hours for interventions, possibly testing one-on-one during that time as well.
Thank you, Mr. Curry. Appreciate that. A lot of information there. Now let's move on to Ms. Welch. If we're ready for Ms. Welch.
Okay, so for the pre-K schedule, our mornings are going to run very similarly to everyone else. So from 8:30 to 9:30, we will have our community building, morning meeting, and our SEL time. That will be synchronous, and it will also be recorded if you need to review it later. For our morning instruction, we will have 45 minutes of literacy whole group. So that will include activities such as reading books to kids. Maybe we'll have special guests who read on certain days. And then we'll do some phonemic awareness activities. And then we will go into recess for 30 minutes. And then we'll come back with synchronous and asynchronous small groups. So depending on the day and what group your child is in, they will either be in a small group led by me or the lead or the paraprofessor, excuse me, or they will be working on independent activities. And then after we are done with small groups, they'll have some time to work on their distance learning packet. And we will also have one-on-one sessions with the teacher as needed. And then after that, we will go into nap time, because we know our youngest koalas need a nap time during the day at some point. And then we will, same time as everyone else, we'll have lunch and recess. And then for our afternoon instruction, it will be the same as the last part of our morning instruction, just one-on-one meetings with the teacher and the parapro and working on that distance learning packet. And then 3 to 4, the teacher planning and office hours.
Thank you for that. Telling us about our pre-Ks and their schedules. I'm going back to Mr. Curry.
Yes, to say and clarify to those synchronous times that will be recorded. Although it will be recorded, we want all of our scholars, if at all possible, to be on those synchronous times for that learning piece. So just because it is recorded, we still want all our scholars, 100% of our scholars on during those times, if possible. So just wanted to add that and clarify that although it is recorded, we don't want to skip out on that just because it is recorded. We want all of our scholars to take advantage of that time with the teacher.
Thank you, Mr. Curry. Thank you for that. Moving down to another question for Ms. Garcia, if you will. How will students be supported if they can't attend virtual learning during designated school hours?
Yes, this actually transitions exactly from what Mr. Curry was just speaking about. And so if they're not able to be supported during or not able to attend during virtual hours, we of course will offer recorded sessions. We'll have teachers available for their office hours between 3 and 4 o'clock. And then if there's further needs after that, we are also looking at more of evening hours. We're looking at how we can have teachers perhaps be on call kind of in after hours tutoring to see if we can ensure that students are able to engage at that time. But I do want to reiterate what Mr. Curry was saying is that we are really pushing to make sure that all of our scholars are attending school synchronously and logging on. And so as parents, what we really need you to do is to make sure that they're getting up, they're getting dressed, they're ready for instruction at 8:30. So at 8:30, they're ready to meet their friends, they're ready to meet their teachers. We're trying to make that community building piece really exciting. We want them to be excited to come to log on online with their classes, just like they're excited to run into Whitehead Road Elementary School when school comes back. And so that's what we really need you to do, parents, is make sure they get up, they have breakfast, they have on their school appropriate clothes, sit them down at 8:30, and then you let our teachers do the magic from there. From there, our teachers will make sure that they're engaged, that they're having opportunities to engage socially with their peers, as well as learn new instruction. And so we will make sure that we will troubleshoot and work with every family to make sure that every scholar receives the best support that they can. But really doesn't matter if they're with you, they're with grandma, they're with aunt down the road, whoever they're with. What we need you to drive home is that at 8:30, your child needs to be ready for instruction, and then let our teachers do their magic from there.
Excellent answer. Excellent, Ms. Garcia. It does take our parents and their help to motivate our kids as well. Thank you for that. Another question is, how will virtual learning work for parents that are working, specifically for young koala scholars who will need assistance in digital learning? Ms. Megan, this is for you.
Hello, everybody. Well, we are hoping to make and trying to make virtual learning as streamlined as possible for these younger students. We're asking that you help them get logged on in the morning to the Google Classroom, which will be our platform, and remind them to stay online where they're supposed to be during the day. We will walk students through, the teachers will walk students through how to navigate through the different apps that we'll be using and the expectations that we have for them during the day, as to not log off and go on to different apps that they're not supposed to be on. We are also going to have many positive reinforcements for our students who are staying on topic and participating online, including koala dollars, and we will have a virtual koala mart this year. So working hard and staying focused and on task will give them those magic koala dollars.
All right, we're still gonna have our koala mart. I'm with that. As we continue now with virtual learning, for Ms. Barnes, how will attendance be taken for our koala scholars, our students? Ms. Barnes, this is for you.
All right, it looks like Ms. Barnes maybe having some technical issues. Ms. Barnes, let's see if we can hear you now.
Okay, I am having technical difficulties. Now that you know all about the schedules and some of the other expectations, I know you're wondering about attendance. So what about attendance? The school district has a team that is in the process of working on student attendance. As soon as that work is completed, it will be made available to all of our families. But I want you to know that here at Whitehead Road, we have an awesome action team that is working on creative and motivating ways to keep our students engaged. So we encourage you to come to live instructions because we are eager to see you.
Thank you, Ms. Barnes. I thought we lost you. I'm so glad you're there. As we continue on with virtual learning, what will be the virtual student platform, Ms. Powell? Ms. Powell, how will students know how to access it?
Students will use Google Classroom, just like we did in the spring, and actually a lot of students were using that before we left school. So they will have the resources and all the assignments all in one place. Google Classroom will be kind of our hub for that. And I'll go on to how parents can know how to access that. You'll hear more about the Parent Academy that will be coming up. And those, you will get a lot of information, really just step by step, what to do with your student's device, where to go, and how Google Classroom really works, since parents might not be quite as familiar with that as the students are.
Thank you, Ms. Powell. As we continue in the same topic and the same regime of virtual learning, how will assessments be administered? Ms. Powell and Ms. Megan, if you all can chime in on this for us, how will assessments be administered?
We will continue to do form assessments, which really means assessments that are built into our instruction, just like we would do in the building, and to try to make that as similar as possible as we can to what the students are already used to. We'll do that through our instruction, and we'll also then have to use technology, things like Google Forms, Nearpod, and to get some of those formative assessments done while we're learning digitally.
Now, for our younger learners, that will look a little bit different. For our formative assessments, that might have students explaining their thought process of how they came to a certain answer. They might show us their work when they've completed it on the Zooms, holding it up to the camera to show. Or else they might be excited to send their teacher a picture of the work that they completed. But we will also assess your child at the beginning of the year on a program called iReady. We're still working on when and how we're going to do that, but just to put that in your ear, we will be doing that, and that will let us know where your child is at academically and what skills that they have already learned and what they still need to work on.
Thank you, Ms. Powell and Ms. Megan. Thank you so much. Academic support. How will my child receive the different support he or she needs? Ms. Garcia, would you enlighten us, please?
Okay, so this is a pretty robust answer, and we will have actually everyone after me speak for their specific departments. But regardless of whatever program your child's in, we will make sure, what we have done already in our planning phases as we plan, we've ensured that at every grade level that we have representation from our ESOL department, special education, early intervention program, and gifted services. And so we ensure that there is always representation during planning. And so when we're developing lessons, we're ensuring that we're including principles for all different learners. So really using this universal design for learning principles, ensuring that we embed things for extension, for mediation, on grade level for all students. And then when we looked at the schedule previously, there's also an opportunity for us to look at those small groups. So during small groups, you saw we had small groups for reading, for writing, and for math. And so those small group opportunities are really for the teacher to be able to work with your child in a small group or either one-on-one, depending on how they break up their groups, to really get that information and support your child through their learning. And then we also will have the additional time from 3 to 4 for any students who need additional support for tutoring, whether they just don't get a concept today or whether they actually have gaps in learning and they need additional work, additional perhaps interventions at that time, as well as if they have extension, they can receive additional extension opportunities then as well.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Ms. Roberts, are you there? I have a question for you. Ms. Roberts, how will gifted programs proceed? How will gifted testing be done?
The Spectrum program plans to push into classrooms virtually and collaborate with classroom teachers through co-teaching and working with small groups of students to extend lessons in much the same way we do in a face-to-face environment. And unfortunately, at the moment, gifted testing is on hold because that does need to be done face-to-face. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Roberts. Thank you, Ms. Roberts. Ms. Kulik, will students under a previous IEP be evaluated early in the year for program continuance? Would you help us with this question, please?
Students with disabilities in a current IEP do not need to be tested in order for their services to continue. Parents with children with disabilities have been contacted by their IEP case managers, and right now we're in the process of having virtual meetings with all these parents prior to the start of school to create virtual learning plans. This plan will outline the supports that the child needs and will receive while participating during virtual learning. These plans will ensure that students will receive the supports needed to be successful with virtual learning. And as far as the 3-year reevaluation process, those are on hold right now until the school psychologists receive guidance from the district. And if you haven't heard from your case manager, please contact the school so that that can be taken care of.
Thank you, Ms. Kulik. Thank you. Ms. Maxwell, at this time, would you review with us for our English speakers of other languages about our ESOL program?
I'll be happy to. The ESOL program at Whitehead Road is preparing for the school year by collaborating with classroom teachers as well, working with grade level teams to help develop virtual lessons. We will offer differentiation for all English language learners, push into virtual class meetings, and work with small groups in the context of virtual breakout rooms. An important part of our work, however, will begin with screening potential English language learners in kindergarten using the WIDA remote screener, which is a remotely administered screening tool that supports the identification of English learners in a time of school closure. An ESOL teacher from our school will contact those families who may have a child that is eligible for language assistance services. And then the teacher will work with families to arrange a 30-minute phone call in order to work with the student one-on-one for the duration of the test administration.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Our devices have become a lifeline to our students, and they're very important. So, Ms. Andrews, we have a variety of questions related to technology and devices, repairs, and internet access. Ms. Andrews, would you enlighten us? The floor is yours.
Thank you. Ms. Garcia, could you please share the slide? So to begin the school year, all K-5 students will use the device that was issued to them in the spring. We did not have students turn those in. For students that we know things happen and things break or something's not working quite right. So we have hours set up for parents to come drive up to the front of the school and receive curbside repair service on their device. We'll be starting Monday, August 24th from 9 to 12 and 1 to 3. We'll continue on Monday, September 1st from 9 to 12 and 1 to 3. Tuesday, September 2nd in the afternoon from 1 to 3. And also Wednesday during open house. Again, that is for any K-5 student who is having troubles with their devices, the charger is broken, or if they did not receive one in the spring, please come to those times to pick up a device to start the school year. Pre-K devices, iPads have been purchased for our pre-K students. We have received some of them, but not all of them. And so we've been asked to wait until all of those pre-K devices are in to distribute those to parents. And we will communicate as soon as we have that date. We'll communicate in multiple channels for when the pre-K students can come pick up their iPad. Also later down the road, the district has designed so that pre-K through first students will use iPads for their digital device, and our second through fifth graders will use Chromebooks. These devices are on order. Unfortunately, I don't have a date for when those will arrive, but when they do arrive, we will communicate with parents, and students will be able to come up and swap out to make sure they have the correct device that the district has chosen for them. As far as technology support, we know that things happen while you are learning, or sometimes you break a charger. So we will have many ways to get in contact with me. We'll have a Google form that parents can fill out. We're looking to have some standing hours every week where parents can drive up without an appointment to get support for their devices. So we have lots of ways that we're here to help you. As far as Wi-Fi access, the district is providing each school with more hotspots. Again, I don't have a number on how many of those we're going to have and when we're going to have them. But if you don't have internet service at your home and you think that you would benefit from a hotspot to assist your students, then please get in touch with your child's teacher. And we have started putting a list together so that when we have those hotspots, we're ready to push them out to the folks that need them. All right, I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Butts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews. At this time, as we turn our attention back to our families, will there be a parent academy or other help for our parents, Ms. Braswell?
Yes, so we actually have a parent academy action team at Whitehead Road that consists of teachers and school support staff members who are working to develop sessions to help jumpstart our parents and in learning how to support their students at home. And so we want to make sure that we include some instructional videos for parents to help support them during digital learning. And we also want to make sure that we provide sessions where parents are able to have some one-on-one time with their homeroom teacher, one-on-one time with our tech support group, and in order to provide them with those pieces to jumpstart that learning on day one. So we want parents to be able to say, day one, I know exactly what to do with my scholar. I don't have to worry about it. We want to lessen that stress level. So please look forward to some information coming to you about some parent academy sessions per grade level so that you'll have some time to hear from the grade level teachers, and also you'll hear from your homeroom teacher as well on just how to get started and where you can go to find some of this information. But we are definitely there to support our parents.
Well, Ms. Braswell, as we continue, will teachers be permitted to work with parents to form small group classroom or grade level pods?
So that's an interesting question. It's definitely not a school-based initiative, so it would be hard for us to say, yes, we are forcing our teachers to do some outside work outside of the school to form those grade level pods. I do know that we have some great teachers at Whitehead who would be more than willing to support our families outside of some of those traditional work hours. And so even through our PSP program that we're working to provide evening support and after-hour support for families, I feel like through that initiative, we will be able to help satisfy or meet the expectations from families who may be looking for like grade level pods. We also have talked about forming some student groups that we looked at calling like this campfire approach to it, where everybody kind of has this little small group pod that they can reach out to for some instructional support or just some peer support. That peer tutoring does go a long ways. And so we can actually have our scholars to depend on each other. They may have forgotten about how to do a certain concept. So they know that they can look in their pod to see who's in their group and call on that person, send them a private message through email or whatever the case may be, or contact them. We'll find a way of making that possible for our scholars. But they can just ask some questions like, hey, did you get that concept today in math? And they can help each other out. So those things we will work to try to make sure that we can support our families.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Braswell. As you can imagine, we have a few questions related to health and safety. I will turn it over to Nurse Susanna for those questions. Nurse Susanna.
So one question that was asked is, what are the metrics being used to determine when it is safe to return to face-to-face instruction? The school district plans to follow the Athens-Clarke County epidemiology reports to determine the next steps. The proposed metrics, which are subject to change, they say that once the positivity rate, and that's the percent of tests that come back positive for COVID. So once that number is at 5% or below, and then we have 3 consecutive reports showing a 14-day decline in cases per 100,000, or we reach 175 cases per 100,000, we will start the transition to have the children back in the classroom. And just for a frame of reference, the report last week showed we're at 9.6% positivity and 454.6 current or active cases per 100,000. Another question that was asked is, what is the plan if a student or staff member contracts the virus? So every school nurse in the district has completed the Johns Hopkins contact tracing course that they put out. And so if a staff member or a student reports COVID-like symptoms or a positive test, they are sent home to isolate per the Department of Public Health guidelines. The school nurse will conduct contact tracing within the school buildings to determine if your child or another staff member was considered a close contact of that case. And if they are, they will be required to quarantine at home and monitor symptoms for 14 days. If your child is deemed a close contact, you will receive a phone call and also a letter for the steps you need to take in that quarantine or isolation process. And online learning will continue for your child if they're in isolation or quarantine as their health allows.
Interesting, interesting. Ms. Braswell, what social interactions will students have when returning face-to-face?
All right, so we understand that we are in a whole new form of schooling, and social interactions are still very important to our students' growth. And so we want to make sure that we still build in some opportunities for them to have that social interaction with their peers. It's very important. Now, we understand that there is the 6 feet of distancing that must be in place. And so we are working to brainstorm on some things with our teachers and staff members about how we can help with making sure those social interactions do exist still while still keeping our scholars safe. And so that interaction and that play may look like a recess where kids can engage with each other, run around, maybe building in some times where we can play some new type of games where we might do assignments, says different things. And so we're just brainstorming some ways that we can make sure students are able to socially interact, but still maintain safety. So, safety is that layer that we have to always think through and think about. And we want to do all that we can at Whitehead to keep all of our scholars and our families safe.
Yes, we want to be all we can. I heard some precautions in your response there in reference to what you'll put in place when students return to school, but is class size a part of that response to you?
So we are still waiting to receive, a real return to school plan from our district office. But I would imagine class size may be something that will be addressed, and that could be that we reduce the number of students within certain classes. And at Whitehead, we do have a return to school action team who are all working to come up with some possibilities and some options for us if that is the case, where the district asks us to reduce those class sizes. And we want to make sure that we're ready. We have everything in place that we need in order to make sure we have a space provided in our facilities, and also to make sure that we have enough staff members to be able to properly take care of our scholars and those reduced class sizes. So if that is something that's in our plan, we at Whitehead are definitely committed to making sure that we provide that space and we meet those obligations.
Thank you again, Ms. Braswell. That's important. Well, if students return to face-to-face instruction, Ms. Braswell, will there be an option for families to continue virtual learning?
So again, I think that will be a district decision, but I am almost confident in saying that our district would probably provide a space for parents to have that choice still. I think choice is still a very important aspect of every parent that's trying to make decisions about how their child's education looks. And so I'm very confident that CCSD will do that and then some to make sure all of our families feel safe and all of our families feel supported with the virtual options still being available, or giving them some new options. Who knows by that point what other things we may be able to come up with to provide an education for all of our scholars in CCSD. So we're hopeful that that will still be a part of the educational process for our students. But if not, we'll find ways to make sure all of our families are supported.
Great answers. Thank you so much again, Ms. Braswell. Well, at this time, we have reached our closing reminders. Ms. Braswell, you take it from here.
Okay, awesome. So, Ms. Garcia, I know we have a few closing things that we are going to make sure that we cover today. And so, save the date. We have an awesome open house planned for our Koala Nation families. And so, we want to make sure that you are prepared and ready for our open house and meeting your teacher. So Tuesday, September the 3rd, Thursday, Braswell, read again. Thursday, September the 3rd, starting at 3 p.m., we will be hosting our open house at the Georgia Square Mall parking lot. We have worked really hard to prepare an awesome kickoff for our Koala Nation families, and we want to make sure that you have every opportunity to meet your child's teacher, every opportunity just to have a exciting start to the school year. We want to get you motivated, get you pumped up, because we know that is important. We want to have a strong start. So we are working really, really hard within Whitehead to make sure our teachers are prepared and also to make sure our parents are prepared. We want you ready day one to get all of our scholars logged on and connected to that awesome learning that will take place on September 8th. So please make sure you mark your calendars. Thursday, September 3rd, starting at 3 p.m., we will have our awesome open house at the Georgia Square Mall parking lot. We understand that at our Whitehead campus, space is limited, so we definitely want to make sure that you have plenty of space to be able to drive through and get all the supplies your scholar needs, and we want to make sure that our staff members are also safe. Awesome. So also we have really created, really worked hard to create a Whitehead digital learning website. And so Ms. Garcia has been very instrumental in making sure that that is available. So Garcia, if you go to the next slide for us, the next slide should give us some information about our Whitehead digital learning website. All right, you got that, Garcia?
It's displaying the bit.ly.
All right.
Do you want me to pull up the website? I'm sorry.
No, on my end, I am seeing that it's just showing the save the date for open house. So I'm not seeing what you were seeing. So all I see is the save the date for open house. So if you'll try that one more time for us to see if maybe we can see what you were seeing. Oh, yes, we can see it now. So awesome. Thank you so much for that, Ms. Garcia. So Ms. Garcia has worked really, really hard to provide a Whitehead digital learner website. And you can find that website at bit.ly/WRES online 2020. And that will give you all of our resources that we have available at Whitehead Road and connect you with all of our awesome teachers and their lovely homeroom classrooms. They have worked really hard to create some Bitmoji classrooms that are full of information for our families to connect with. So thank you guys so much for that. Ms. Garcia, you have something to say on that?
Oh, no, I was just going to say I forgot to include a slide, but make sure if you don't already follow us on social media, you go to Facebook and Instagram. We also have a Whitehead Road Elementary School social media where we also put out information.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. And last but not least, I want to connect you with our school's theme this year. We understand that we are facing just a whole new way of doing school, but we want you to take on that same mind frame that we have and that same mindset and be unstoppable. So our theme this year is unstoppable. And so here's a quote for you to think about. So the greatest human quality is that of becoming unstoppable. And you become unstoppable by refusing to quit, no matter what happens. And that's by Brian Tracy. And so that's what we have agreed to do at Whitehead Road this year, no matter what, no matter if technology fails, no matter what happens, we have agreed to become unstoppable. We understand that disappointments may happen, failures may happen, just things that the unexpected may happen. But even with that, we have decided to take all of those opportunities and use those as fuel to propel us forward. We won't stop. We won't let anything stop us. And so I have a little riddle for you, parents. So, riddle me this. Unbelievable, unbreakable, and unstoppable. What do they all have in common? So staff members, don't give it away because I know you've seen this already. So don't mouth and tell them the answer or anything of that nature. And we ended up doing this as a staff to see what our staff would say about it. We had some pretty cool answers that came up that we didn't even think about. But our answer to this is they all begin with you, and that's better known as YOU, parents. So parents, we need you. We can't do this alone. We will do all that we can on Whitehead's end, but we understand that without you, we can't be unstoppable. So we have a challenge for you, parents. We want you to partner with us, join in with us, hand in hand, whatever it takes, and agree to be unstoppable. We refuse to allow any barrier to stop us from getting that instruction to our scholars. So whatever you need, reach out to us. We will do all that we can to help support you and to help improve whatever that condition is to make sure your scholar is connected to the awesome things that's happening at Whitehead Road. We have a first day challenge, and I want all of our parents to really, really connect to our first day challenge. And it is this: every student, first day, every scholar, first day, every single one of our scholars, we want them connected first day. So you will be hearing from your child's homeroom teacher to find out if there is anything standing in the way of getting every scholar connected on the first day of school. Our goal is to have 100% of our scholars connected on the first day, and we are willing to do that necessary work to help you and support you to make sure that we have 100% of our scholars online, day one, joining into our celebration. So parents, to end our town hall meeting, again, we just want to thank you for being a part of this process. Thank you for the awesome questions. And again, if new questions pop up, please make sure you go to our website and get that form and fill out that form for us to receive those questions. And we will provide a space for those answers to be provided to you as well. So Koala Nation, our last word to you on tonight or this evening is to be unstoppable. Again, thank you, Koala Nation, and it is a pleasure to serve our quality scholars. Thank you, team. Thank you, panelists, for joining us today. Thank you, Mr. Butts, for being an excellent facilitator of this process. And we hope that your questions were answered tonight or this evening. I keep wanting to be night, but it's not night yet. I think Ms. Braswell is tired at this point. But we hope that we were able to provide you with the answers to your questions. If your question was not addressed, please bear with us. We will probably end up hosting another type of town hall or some kind of Q&A session. It may be more intimate the next time so that you will have opportunity to engage with possibly your teachers or possibly admin, but we will do our best to provide you with the answers that you need to your questions. So until we meet again, Koala Nation, remember, be unstoppable. Y'all have a great evening.